Welcome back, students. In this part, I'll be telling you various methods how do I purify my organic compounds. There are many techniques how do I purify my organic compounds. Like in metallurgy chapter, you must have seen, right? From the ore, we first do the concentration, then their oxidation, then we come to the refining of the ores. Similarly, here I'll be having various techniques, but for every technique I'll be having different steps. So that you have to pick up. Here we go. Now comes the purification techniques, guys. The organic substance, the substrate which we obtain is nevertheless pure. Okay. Just like if we do extraction in metallurgy, we extract some metal that is not in a pure state. Here also, if we form or we get the organic compounds, they are not in the pure state. So we need to purify them. And for that, we have many purification techniques. So the common techniques are like sublimation, crystallization, distillation, differential extraction, and chromatography. So these are the 5 ones which we basically use for the purification of organic compounds. So what is sublimation? In this process, the solid substances, it changes from solid to vapor form without going in the liquid phase. That is what do I mean by a sublimation process. And this is used to separate all the sublimable compounds from non-sublimable impurities. So compounds are sublimable, means they forms directly vapors from the solid state, which impurities do not. Then comes crystallization. Now this is based on a difference in the solubilities of the compound and the impurities in a particular solvent, in a suitable particular solvent. So what happens if your substance it is soluble in it, it may form crystals. Okay, and then we will move on for the process of the crystallization of it. Then we form crystals and purify it out. Distillation. Now the important method this is used to separate is the volatile ones from the non-volatile ones. Volatile means what? Which can easily form the vapors. Okay, low boiling point. And the liquids have sufficient difference in their boiling point. So if they have difference in the boiling point and these properties of volatility, then we can go through the distillation process. Now the types are steam distillation. Now this technique is applied to separate the substances which are steamly volatile, means they are volatile but not just providing the small amount of heat but at a large heat. If I provide the steam, then they will get volatile and are immiscible in water. Then we have differential extraction. What is differential extraction? The organic solvent and the aqueous solution, it should be immiscible with each other so that they form 2 distinct layers which can be separated out. How does that happen? That happens due to the difference in the property of viscosity, that the layers are different. So we say differential extraction. Then comes chromatography. This you have already, I think you must have done in school labs, right? Chromatography. So what is this technique? In this technique, the mixture of the substances is applied to a stationary phase. It's not phase, it's PHASE. Let me correct it. Phase. It's phase. Now, which can be a what? Solid or a liquid. So, pure solvent, it will be a mixture of solvents or a gas. It is allowed to move slowly in that stationary phase. Okay, stationary in the phase. And again, that is application of capillary action, you can say. Okay, application of capillary action, which allows it to move up in the stationary phase. Then there is a difference between the stationary phase and its level, and we check the RF value for it. So chromatography involves absorption, partition. So adsorption, it's not absorption, it's adsorption actually. Adsorption. So adsorption chromatography, it is based on the fact that different compounds are adsorbed on the adsorbent. And your commonly used adsorbent are what? Silica gel and your alumina. what happens? We have column chromatography. Okay, we have column chromatography and we have thin layer chromatography. So in column chromatography, we have a mixture, okay, and that is packed in a glass tube. Then we have thin layer chromatography. It is another technique which involves the separation based upon the layer-based coating on the glass plate. And the relative absorption of each of the component in the mixture in terms of the retardation factor or the RF value we say, okay, RF value. So RF is what? RF is the distance which is moved by the substance from a baseline. There is a standard baseline and divided by the distance which is moved by the solvent. So substance by the solvent, that distance ratio is your RF value, which will tell me that okay, now from this impurity solvent my substance has been separated out up to this level. And your partition chromatography, it is a continuous differential partition of that mixture, okay, between the stationary and the mobile phase. Means in a partition chromatography, for every step we are doing the extraction. Means on a chromatographic paper, on a filter paper, that is getting extracted from the stationary phase to a new level, okay, and at every level the particles which are getting absorbed, they are taken out. So that is my partition chromatography. So these are some of the basic purification techniques, guys, for doing the chromatography, for purifying the substances, okay, for purifying the organic substances. If you have any doubts in this chapter, you can log on to www.askIITians.com. There you can go to our discussion board and you can post your question by choosing your category. You have to select your category and you can post your question here. We experts at Ask IITians will answer to your question or doubts within 24 to 48 hours. So students, in this part we understand the techniques, the methods to purify those organic compounds, okay, which may also include your color test and all, which may also include your chromatography and all. Now, how much is my substance pure? Who will do the quality check of that? That is known as qualitative analysis, that how much I have obtained, what I should have obtained and all. That we do in the qualitative analysis, which I am going to introduce in your next part. Stay tuned with me for that.